How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at Shadow PC. I know I was going to do some more Steam Deck videos, but I've just been playing with Shadow PC on the G Cloud, and it's really cool. And I just kind of wanted to share it to everybody, so everyone can get an idea of what it's like, how it runs. And yeah, if you've got a decent internet connection, it's an awesome way to stream games, and it's just a virtual PC. I just find that concept so cool. So let's dive into it. Pros and cons. Internet speed is a must. Obviously, you need to have at least 50 megabytes per second download speed, and the ping latency is key. So you need to make sure you've got like a decent system set up in your house, or if you're just planning on playing near the router itself or the router, yeah, you're going to need like your ping needs to be below at least 6 or 7 or 10, preferably below 10. Otherwise, you're going to get a not a great performance. It's going to be laggy and stuttery. But when you actually do set it up properly, there's quite a few different routes you can take as far as the codec, just the different streaming settings we'll go through. You can get it set up running really well, and I'm super impressed with it. I only play my games really at home, so this is obviously not going to work if you're wanting to play it on an airplane or in somewhere that has a very crappy internet connection. This is really just for streaming at your friend's house, your house, anybody or anywhere that has a decent connection. You're just going to hop onto your PC. I think that the main thing that I like about it is that your PC is set up and you can access it from anywhere. And by the way, this is not sponsored. This is not a sponsored video. This is all my own thoughts, and I will factor in the price. And yeah, let's just have. Welcome back, everyone. Let me just show you some gameplay straight away to get across how insane this program is. So like I say, I'm streaming upstairs in my office right now. My router's downstairs. It's not exactly extremely close, but my house isn't huge, so it's not covering a massive distance. Do need a decent latency for this to work properly. I think the nearest data center to me from Shadow PC is in France. So this is getting streamed from France straight to me on the G Cloud. Settings I'm running. This is the base membership. So there's two memberships with Cloud. There's a base tier and a boost tier. So the base tier comes with a GTX 1080. So used to saying RTX. There's a GTX 1080 in this PC, so it's pretty underpowered, but for 1080p gaming, it's pretty decent. I'm looking to get the boost membership. I'm looking to try that out at some point, but sadly they've sold out because of Diablo 4. A lot of people wanted to get a boosted 3070 in order to play Diablo 4. So as soon as a boost membership comes up, I'm going to probably hop over to that and see if it's any better. It's obviously going to be quite a lot better graphics wise because you've got a 3070 instead of a 1080. So yeah, but for games like GTA, which is really well optimized and pretty old now anyway, it works really well. As you can see, we're getting a lock 60. The main thing for me is the latency. So let me just hop out the car quickly. And yeah, not only are the graphics really good, but the latency is basically non-existent. If you did some kind of deep dive into this, there probably is quite a bit more added latency rather over a local version of GTA. Would technically be a lot better, but as far as the actual latency goes, for me, it's like not noticeable, especially GTA because it's a third-person game, so it's not going to be too in-depth, although there is a first-person mode in this. I'll show you that as well, but the latency it's just not noticeable, especially when you got it running at 60 FPS as well. I'll normally play it on here, but if I hop out of here for a second, just a little tip if you guys have a G Cloud and haven't noticed this setting, if you go to controller, you can actually change the joystick dead zone settings now. So originally this was quite a big issue because they set the dead zones quite high, so the preciseness of the joystick was pretty inaccurate. So in first person shooters, your joystick's dead zone was too high, so like your movement wasn't great, your accuracy wasn't great, and these joysticks are quite small anyway. I would say the Steam Deck joysticks are a lot more superior, but when you set these, I've actually managed to set them to 2. You set them too low, then the natural drift in the joystick could affect gameplay, but my joysticks haven't got any drift whatsoever, so setting them down right down to 2 gives me really accurate joysticks. And like I say, because they're not the greatest ever depth joysticks. They're quite small. They're similar to the Steam Deck. They're better than the Steam, not the Steam Deck. They're better than the Switch's joystick, but they're just not as good as the Steam Deck joystick, which has more depth to it. So yeah, like I say, with the change in the joystick dead zone is very accurate. You can see here I'm literally tweaking it slightly, bring up the weapon wheel. Kind of good use of latency here. So it might not be as clean and the latency might not be as good as local, but it's very not noticeable for me. And that's the main thing. The latency when streaming is obviously the main thing. So yeah, I'm basically running GTA at the high settings streaming, and I'm going to get around 10 to 11 to 12 hours of battery life, which is awesome. Because if I'm on the Steam Deck, I'm only looking at around 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And yeah, I'm not really going to sit and play GTA for like 10 or 12 hours straight, but it's just nice to pick up and play. You don't need to put it on charge every time you finish with it, and it just looks really crisp. And to be honest, I'm more of a fan of 16:9 displays rather than 16:10. I know the Steam Deck has a bit of a weird display where it's taller than this one, so it's some games don't support it properly, and you're left with black bars. So it's nice to have a display which you know is going to be supported by every game as well. Plus, another benefit is it's way smaller, so it's easier to just pick up. You know, the Steam Deck's a bit of a beast. By the way, I'm not hating on the Steam Deck. I absolutely love the Steam Deck. I'm just voicing my opinion on how much I do really like this little device. Price aside, because I know the actual device is very pricey. I did touch on that in my last video. But as far as using it for shadow, which is what I'm talking about in this video, it really surprised me. I've had the G Cloud for about a week now, and I've played remote play on my Xbox. It's been really fun. But the main use case for me so far is the Shadow PC, just because it's a PC and I can do whatever I want on the PC itself. So my first port of call was to boot it up on my actual PC and just install everything, because having to navigate a PC is not easy when you don't have a keyboard and mouse. So what I was doing is using my finger here, kind of using my screen as a trackpad, obviously leaving a load of fingerprints in the process, but it works. So I've got it set up so you can actually just have your finger as a trackpad here. And what I do is I double click here to get the keyboard if I need it, or long press brings up the right sticks or the right mouse button click. And that's kind of all I need it to do as far as just accessing games and just opening settings and everything. If I need to edit or install anything or sort out emulators, I'll boot it up on my actual computer where I have access to every mouse, keyboard, blah, 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 etc. So I'll show you some emulation as well, because you've got to remember that although this is it feels like this is running natively, it's got a GTX 1080 in at the minute, and emulation is amazing on this. Obviously, every PS2 game is emulated perfectly fine. I've managed to emulate it up to 3 times native resolution, so it's actually running at 1080. So if I just load up God of War 2 here, now the Steam Deck does emulate PS2 really well, but it doesn't emulate it as well as this device, because it's obviously not native on this device. It's running on the actual PC with a GTX 1080. But because of how good the streaming is on this device, it looks native. There's zero latency whatsoever. God of War 2 looks really nice. Just play a little bit of the game here. But this has been my preferred way of playing emulated games recently. Before I got the device, obviously I was playing it on the Steam Deck, and especially when playing GTA 3. I mean, I did finish it on the Steam Deck, but the cutscenes were really laggy, and that was just due to the power that the Steam Deck lacked. And for some reason, the GTA 3, the Metal Gear Solid 3 cutscenes are just really demanding for some reason. I know this is a known issue, but going back and trying it out on this device, yeah, it works really well. I had no issues. I'll jump over to Metal Gear Solid 3 in a minute, but I just wanted to show you guys the emulation capabilities of the Shadow PC as well. I mean, it is literally just a Windows computer, so you can emulate anything. And what I've set up the PS2 emulator to do is if I just hold the start button and press the thumbstick in, brings up the menu, and I'll just click load state, and I'm straight in. I think it just thinks exactly the Xbox button, so that's why that's popped up. But if I just go back into the game, Metal Gear Solid 3 up and running on the PS2 emulator. I'll just get the mouse out of the way. So Metal Gear Solid 3 has a weird bit of latency anyway. I don't know why, but it was like that on the Steam Deck. If you go back and watch some videos on it, it does have a slight bit of latency. But in actuality, I'm kind of used to it because I'm just used to playing this game so many times now. If you're a fan of the channel, you know how much I love this game. And big ups to Konami trying to recreate it. I hope they do a decent job with it. Let me know if you guys have any opinions on that. It is Konami working on it though, so I'm kind of holding my breath with it at the minute. But they're using the old voice cast. I don't think they're actually changing much. As long as they keep it exactly the same and just update the graphics and the mechanics, everything should be okay. But in the meantime, we can emulate this at 1080p. So this is Substance, or is it Subsistence? I think it's one of the two. And yeah, if you have a good latency and internet and use the settings I've set up on Shadow, it runs awesome. Yeah, it is. Like I said, the game runs really well. I've played this game so many times. I know when it doesn't run well, and I know when it runs well. And this runs pretty much normal. It feels very native to me. I'm actually shocked at how little latency there is in the Shadow PC, considering it's just streaming from a cloud PC somewhere in France. I'm pretty sure we're at the France server. But yeah, performance is fluid. Graphics look crisp, look really crisp actually. Let me just zoom in. You can see that. Yeah, that was inevitable. But you can see like the graphics look really nice because it's upscaling it 3 times from native resolution. So that's really cool. And then you have the benefit of it also not being run natively, so you're getting extra battery life. Just going to boot up Celeste for you guys because this game really relies on latency and being extremely precise. So I feel like this is a good test for it. Not in the graphics department because this game can run on anything. It's just 2D. It does look really good, but it's a 2D game, so you're not going to be testing the graphics card at all. You can play this on the Steam Deck. You can play this on the Switch, but this is mainly just a latency test. So as you can see, already in the main menu, up and down, up and down. The D-pad isn't insanely good on the G Cloud, but it does the job. If I just hop into this game, as you can see, loading times are really good. It's on an SSD. I also just want to make it clear that I'm not being sponsored by Shadow for this video. It'd be awesome if they could sponsor me. I won't mind a couple of months free membership, but yeah, this is not sponsored. This is just my honest thoughts and opinions on the service. And the only reason I'm actually using this service is because I got a month free via the purchase of the device. They just gave me a month free. So yeah, that's the only reason why I'm using it. But it's just shocked me at the capabilities, which is why I'm making a video. But yeah, this game is known for reaction times. You need to be very like precise with it. Let's see if we can get the strawberry just so I can prove. I mean, I'm not the best at this game, but I kind of just want to prove to you guys that the game, that was my bad. That wasn't the that wasn't the latency, I promise. That was just me not being too good. I think I can do. Can I double jump on this game? No. Here we go. Here we go. Here's the run. And quick dash out. There we go. Thank you. That did take a while, but the latency is that good that you will be able to play games that require really precise timing, like Celeste here. As you can see, I'm literally. So when I press A, she's jumping. No latency. So although this is an extremely easy game to run, and a Steam Deck can run this, a Switch can run this, this is purely just like a latency test, just to show you guys how good the latency actually is. So yeah. So we're back in Max Payne 3. if you watch the channel for a while, you know this is one of my favorite games. I just love the replayability of it. It's just so fun to hop in and out of. Story's decent. Max is really funny. Some of his monologues and stuff he goes on. He's just a really like he's a cool, pretty cool, badass protagonist. Um, yeah, some of his monologues are just so funny. The the actual gameplay itself, it runs on a Steam Deck. It's not a hard game to run, but because it's just one of my favorites, I thought I'd install it on the cloud and see how it performs latency wise. It's very similar to GTA, so it's third person, which means you don't need to have the best ever latency to properly play the game, but it's just another game to try out. So, but these are the settings I'm running in order to get a decent performance. So just go video display 1080p, which is the display size's resolution. Low bandwidth width mode is ticked just in case I have any issues with latency. That can just rectify any problems. If I have that unchecked, then the network might get a bit slow. If anyone's downloading something or watching something online, it won't be able to rectify the some network problems. So just keep that on. So I normally limit mine to 40 megabits per second. It really depends what your speeds are like at your house or wherever you're streaming from. And I also adapt max bitrate to network conditions. So, if, like I say, my internet's been a little bit slow, I'll just turn that on, and then it can just auto adjust. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty simple to set up. And then all we do is just start Shadow PC. And the cool thing is, it's now turning on a PC somewhere on a server, and we're in. Final thoughts on G Cloud and Shadow. So I'm going to list the costs and stuff now. So in pounds, it's 29.99 a month. Yes, it's a pricey service. This is a replacement PC. This is for someone who maybe doesn't have a PC at home and just wants to cloud into a PC. There's multiple reasons why you'd have a shadow PC instead of an actual PC or both, especially if you just want to quickly log in and play a game, etc. And you don't have to turn this computer on or Steam link to it. I mean, you're saving on electricity. There's multiple reasons why. £30 for the base tier is pretty pricey. It's only got a GTX 1080, so it's not going to run games, brand new games at the highest setting, even at 1080p graphics. I mean, some of the new games now are pretty hard to run anyway, and that's with an RTX card. So, yeah, you might want to jump up to the boost tier, and that is going to run you like 40, I think it's 44.99 a month. If you put it in terms of like a phone contract, if you've got a brand new iPhone, you're going to be paying like 60, £70 a month if you're on a contract with it. That's UK anyway. Americans, it's probably sounding mad expensive. I think in America they have like a 6 month deal where you can pay a fat amount and you get a bit of a discounted rate. But for some reason in the UK they're not doing that. It's just a monthly flat rate. But yeah, 44.99 is not terrible. I mean, yeah, compare it to like a phone contract, it's really not too bad. You have your own PC, access it from anywhere as long as your internet is decent. I think it is a reasonable price, just as long as you're using it quite a lot and not just for streaming, but the emulation like me. Like I say, I got a free month with my G Cloud and I'm just trying it out and it's really impressed me. So I'm just giving some thoughts and opinions on it. Potentially might get another month and try Boost out. So I could try out some more powerful games, maybe get the new Star Wars game, stream it. Just because of how impressed I am, it feels like I'm playing it on the device. I'm not seeing any latency at all, which is why I'm so impressed with it. And the fact I can just boot it up on my big screen here, install a load of games without having to mess about with no keyboard support. Like, say if you're doing this on a Steam Deck, you'd have to Bluetooth the keyboard to the Steam Deck in the front end mode and mess about like that. Whereas I can just quickly boot it up on here and then quickly jump it back over to the cloud, and it's the same PC. So yeah, and even if I got the RTX 3070, they have a TV app. I can boot it up downstairs and maybe play it on the TV for a bit. It's just very versatile. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. So if that sounds cool, it's definitely worth it. I think you should definitely give it a go. You know, you can. I think there's a few discount codes kicking about somewhere that you can get like $10 or £10 off your first month. But it's the thing I've been playing most on the G Cloud so far. Like I said, I've had it for a couple of weeks now. But yeah, I just wanted to do a separate video on it just to get out there a bit more. Like I say, not sponsored. I've got no link in the description or no. I'm not getting any money for doing this. It's my own thoughts and opinions. You need a good internet. Your latency needs to be a reasonable amount, and it's just pricey. So factor them in. The G Cloud itself is pricey, and it's a pricey device, but you could just run this shadow on, I guess, your phone and a controller connected to it. But yeah, my thoughts and opinions on it. You've seen the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm open to all discussions. Some people might really hate this, and some people might really love it and have already been using it. But yeah, my thoughts on Shadow and how it works really well with the G Cloud. I think you guys should give it a check out. And if you've just got a G Cloud, definitely redeem the free subscription and try it out. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you guys soon.